Okay, so I had this comment yesterday, hey Lee PSP video, I wanted to let you know about this Android 10 testing image for the Pi 4. Haven't tried it out yet, I'm going to try it now. The download link is, and there's a link, so if we click on the link, it takes you here. It's in Spanish, and oh, it was saying do translate, so let's just refresh it and see if it, yeah, translate this page. So, software beta distributions. Android 10 for Raspberry Pi 4, second beta compilation of Android 10 as of June the 16th, with the latest kernel as of today, 5.4.45, fully functional, and with Google services activated. So it's only for the Raspberry Pi 4, and it's Android 10. So I downloaded it, unzipped it, which took a while. It's about a 14 gig image, and then I wrote it to a card with balena etcher, and it works great. I'm just going to put, I'm going to stay in Raspbian for a moment and pop my SD card into the Pi, because I wanted to show you what the config.txt was like and where it was if you wanted to overclock it. So it doesn't come overclocked, which is good. You don't want images to come overclocked to standard. So if we go to config.txt, it's in this 134 megabyte folder. So config.txt, and I've applied some things at the bottom. For some reason my screen capture device won't capture this Android OS. I don't know why. I've tried with an HDCP stripper, which usually is something that sorts it out, but I can't capture it. So I'm going to have to use my phone pointed at my monitor, but that'll be fine. So these bits were already in here, and you can see that it's using the KMS driver for 3D graphics, which is something that wasn't supported in the Consta Kang build of Raspberry Pi OS. Now I've just noticed clicking on this that actually there's a newer version from Consta Kang, which is amazing, because this has been a great image but with no 3D support, but I've done loads of videos on it, and I've been really impressed with it. But if we go back to this one, so this is the new Spanish downloaded image. It is in Spanish, but you can change most of the aspects. You can change the OS and various different bits about it into English or whichever language you choose. So the bits I've added, HDMI ignore, I did that to force it to be 1080, hoping that it would work with my screen capture device, but it doesn't. Disable overscan, gets rid of the black border around the screen which was on there, and so that's worked. And then I've overclocked, so I've gone for 2 gigahertz and also 750 on the GPU, even though at stock PPSSPP worked brilliantly. Which is a real surprise, because gaming on the Consta Kang image was terrible, and yet video was fine, and web browsing and actually Stadia works really well on the Consta Kang image. But on this, PPSSPP blew me away at how good it was. So let's boot it up. Okay, so let's plug in. Get quite a nice Android splash screen there. I'm using a wired speaker with a 3.5mm connector because the HDMI wasn't giving me sound. I probably could put it in the other HDMI socket or play around with it, but I'm just doing what works for me.
Battery, 80%.
I'm also using a wired Xbox 360 controller which I got plugged in, and I've also got my RetroPie USB stick plugged in there just to play around with it and just to show you something about how you add games to it. So you can see navigation with the controller is very quick. It's nice and snappy. We've got the Google Play Store there, although what I've found with the Google Play Store is if you click on it, you can navigate this fine and move around really well. So it's an Android TV OS. So if we go up to the top though, games comes up fine. But if we try and search, it flicks out. So even that next, whatever that next category was, what was it, My Apps. So for some reason it doesn't get to there. I don't know if it installs, if I try Crossy Road, install, it says connect to gamepad. I have got a gamepad connected. For some reason it won't let me go past that. I wonder if let's just try one more thing that might work. Something like, this is good because I think it's showing just the games that work with a controller. So a bit like on my Apple TV or my Nvidia Shield, where it kind of only shows you the things that are suitable. Yeah, connect to gamepad. Maybe I'll come back to that in another video. What I might do is connect my Xbox One controller and try that. So the way I've installed things on here, and just to show you what came on it as standard. So I think the YouTube app I've installed on there, the File Manager app I've installed on there, and I think I even did this Google Files, but everything else was there. So whatever Mix Explorer is, Rootless Pixel Launcher, YouTube Advance, which was on there, but it quits out. The Firefox was on there. Firefox Focus, Retroarch was on there, Gameboy Advance was on there, and PPSSPP, which was the one I was most excited about, and that was on there as well. So if we go to settings, you can see I'm connected to my Wi-Fi. That worked fine. If I go to apps, I can see the apps that are on there. It is very fast as an operating system. I noticed this right from the off. Really, really nice. So Raspberry Pi 4, Android 10, that talks about the kernel version. So let's show you Game Boy Advance first. So Game Boy Advance came with 2 games. I've not added any on here, and I think it was it the top one that I played a little bit of. But you can also, I did a save state because, oh no, it's not that one then, it must be the other one. So let's try exit. Let's try that one and see if there's a save state for that. Yeah. So you can go straight into the game and you can see that it was full speed. Now I tried Game Boy Advance, I think I tried Game Boy Advance and it was running slow on the Consta-Cane, the original version of Android. But let's press the home button, come out of that, go into Retroarch. Now all I've done is added one ROM. So if I do load content and I put it in, and I put it in the DCIM folder because I knew it was going to be on there, and you can see I've got a couple of PSP games in the same folder as well. So if I hit power drive, load archive, and you can see that this comes up. All the menus work really nice and fast. Let's have the Mini Cooper. It's the X button is instead of A for some reason. Obviously you can change all that. There you go, so working alright. No issues with that. So press the home button. Oh, was this, I think this is the one I struggled to quit out of. So if I press escape and escape, no, that's not working. So I tried, I think F1 is back. Yeah, so F1 gets you back to that menu. Was there anything else worth showing before I go? Oh, so the files. So to get games on there, I couldn't get PPSSPP or Retroarch to see my USB stick. But it does work on this. Now if I go over to mouse and keyboard for this bit. So USB storage connected. Allow file manager to access, and then I have a RetroPie mount folder in here, and all I did was I was copying games over. Well, let's do it. Let's go ROMs, and let's get a Game Boy Advance ROM. Press and hold and hit more and copy. And then you've got internal storage, and the DCIM folder just shows up. I know it's for photos, but it's easy enough to put it in there just for testing it. So now if we come out of that, I installed this with APK Pure, which is this, which is like an app store, and there are various things in there, and you can search it. It's clearly a mobile phone app store, but it did work and it was fine. So let's try Game Boy Advance and see if we can find that. So exit, don't save. So if I do search games, oh, it looked like it searched the whole, and this is brilliant. This is Pro Evolution Soccer on the Game Boy Advance, and I used to play this loads on my Game Boy Advance. Well, it'll be interesting to see if this works full speed. It's all in Japanese, but you can just flick through the menus and just get into a game. That's all I used to do. So it's the analog stick. Oh, the buttons aren't the same. The runs all right. Oh, I didn't know I was that quite so close to goal. So yeah, that's running at the speed that I would expect that to run at. Let's just see, try and work out what buttons I've got. Is that tackle? That one doesn't seem to do anything. Right, so that's a big kick. Okay, let's leave that for now and go for the really good bit. And if anybody's got any more information on this or sees any more updates, if they could let me know, because on the page, if you click through all the options on the page, there isn't an awful lot you can do, and most of the links are dead. And I couldn't find, because I was going to try the previous link as well. So in the comments from Raspberry Pi Projects and More, they gave me a follow-up comment on, I think the same video or different video, that said it wasn't working. The first time I downloaded it, it didn't unpack correctly. The second time I downloaded it, I unzipped it with WinRAR and just wrote it with LineageOS, and it was absolutely fine. And this is the result. And it hadn't crashed yet. So the Google Play Store isn't working. It's weird, isn't it? As you go over to that right-hand side, the last two right-hand options, or last 2 or 3 options, it just quits out. Let's see if the YouTube is still quitting out. So, do you want to see a dog rescue? I think we probably do. Oh, yeah, that's what it does. So as soon as it starts playing a video, it quits out. Well, let's try this one, which was I'm pretty sure I installed this. Oh yeah, I did, because there's my video, look. That looks like that. No, so that quits out as well. So a bit of work to be done on this. I suppose I could try, is the browser... It's slow, but it's working. I wonder if it will try and hijack the web browser if I try and play a YouTube video. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, this was funny. Akinfenwa's price is going to go up in FIFA, I would imagine, after this video and the result. Oh, it's struggling. I wonder why it's struggling so much, because my Wi-Fi's fine. It's in the same room. And it's not slow. Scrolling's alright. I'm using 2 fingers on the control pad. Can I pick a super low resolution? Oh, it's picked 360 and it's still not playing. 240, 144. Okay, so video in the browser doesn't seem to be working properly either. Obviously I could try some different browsers on there if I wanted to, but it is early days. So let's get to the real impressive bit of it. That won't let me quit out. Press the home button on my Xbox controller. PPSSPP has been excellent on Raspberry Pi for a long time. Now, this game came pre-installed, Cave Story, and it's alright actually, pretty decent. Chucky Egg I put on there because you can click on Homebrew and you can download from and I don't know if I'd seen this before, but you can basically see various different games, and it will tell you about the game in some cases. Some of them have like you can see there's a description. I thought there was some of them, oh yeah, some of them have got a screenshot like Chucky Egg. And so you can install those on there, but also I've added mine, and I tried to add it from the USB stick. I've never liked the navigation for USB stick on PPSSPP. I suppose maybe it's just on Android that it struggles. And I can see down the bottom it says there's a new version available, download or dismiss. But this is working fine, so I'm going to go with this. Right, so let's click, and my Xbox controller often does 2 presses instead of 1. Right, so GTA Vice City Stories. And I haven't tried this since I overclocked, but without overclock, it was running fine with 1 times PSP, 1 times resolution. I think this is probably on 2 at the minute. I'll have a look. In fact, I did a game's save state. How do I get save state? Yeah, load that. So you can probably hear the audio. I've turned off the music. The music was working absolutely fine. So let's... Is it? Yeah, so it's analog stick. So I think, yeah, I think this is probably on 2 times resolution. So let's pause that and go to game settings. It did go to much higher. I put it on 4, just out of interest to see what it was going to look like. And check out the graphics on this for a PSP game. Obviously it's enhanced. It does look super good. I was walking slow there. Oh, that it says try frame skip that. So let's go back to game settings, and I haven't really played around with many of the settings. I did put frame skipping on, which PPSSPP often does need, but it doesn't tend to act that bad on it. But let's go right down to 1 times, which the graphics are going to look worse, although to be fair you're looking at it on my smartphone, so it'll probably still look alright to you. But you can see the FPS is definitely not reading correctly because it isn't 16 FPS. It feels fine. I was going to do, there's a jump here somewhere. Now, what side of those trees do I have to be? Oh, this might not work. No, I think I've messed that up. I definitely messed that up. Nice to have save states. So load. Get back to my oh, that was my bike that I they're still waiting there. That was my bike I had earlier on. So let's try that one more time because it looks like you can jump onto the boat. I don't know if I've changed another setting, but I'm definitely getting a little bit more sort of haziness or slowdown. But I don't think I changed anything else. Right, can I go? Oh yeah, I can go this side of the trees. Go on, don't tip over. Oh no, I didn't want that. One more go. Could be as well that I've got so many other things open. So none of the apps I closed down. I don't know how well Android, this version of Lineage copes with apps open and things like that. But it's definitely doing like a sort of, almost like a hazy effect that I wasn't getting yesterday. So I think it's probably that something else is running that's causing it to do it. Right, I think I'm almost better off not to go quite as fast. Oh, that's going to hit the tree, isn't it? Okay, so I'm probably going to leave it there. Actually, let's just have another look. So some of these, it often tells you what they do. So faster, and I don't think this works on GTA, this mode. No, that doesn't work. It does on some other games. Oh. Buffered rendering, frame skips, auto frame skip 1 times. That's a speed up. Speed up. Let's turn these down to low and let's try it again. Is that better? That's better. I'm not getting that sort of, oh no I am, it's still, right, it probably is because something else is running. But it does work surprisingly well. Maybe when you first start it up and don't start, because I've obviously opened loads of things in this video. I don't quite know how to close them all down because I haven't got any guide or anything. And it's not the same controls as Lineage. Oh, that's good. It's good. Through the middle. Now I'm going to hit the tree again. Oh no, I don't need that tree there. About this angle. Oh, that might be it. I might be on the boat. I think I am. What? Am I on the boat? Yeah, I am, aren't I? Oh, I survived that. Okay, so I think I'll leave it there anyway. Yeah, I hope you find this interesting. I hope this helps. I look forward to more updates on this, and I've also got to have a look at that Consta because there's a couple of new images for that. I think it did still say in the description that there aren't, it's not supporting 3D yet. That's just before we go out. Let's just put it back onto that really high quality. So let's put that on high again and put that on 5. And just out, look at that. It just looks really good, like really crisp. Getting a bit of a blurry effect. But yeah, it shows that things are definitely progressing. Okay, so I hope this helps. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.